I see a better Africa. The dream is vivid and tangible, and it shall come.
African countries are always seen as the periphery, countries that are down the food chain. They're the lions and we are the cubs. But welcome to the show that's gonna show you the beauty of Africa, not just beauty in terms of natural resources or stuff, but I'm talking about the intelligence of a black man. Welcome to the Better Africa show. I'm your host, Panache Gananamo. Please, fellow YouTubers, make sure to subscribe, share, and leave a comment below. We want to know what you say about this show. So today we have a very special guest, a very valedictorian. His name is Dr. F Katsande. F Katsande is a child in a family of 12 siblings, born in Zimbabwe to a peasant family. He became a believer in 1985. F served in the corporation world as an accounting officer and a finance manager for 3 different companies. He also served as a youth pastor for 10 years before he joined Campus Crusade for Christ, CCC, in Zimbabwe 2000. As a Jesus film coordinator, he has served in different roles in the ministry, for example, director of operations, campus director, and also national director, and as the finance manager for the Southern and Eastern Africa. He was appointed as the area team leader for Southern and Eastern Africa in 2010. He served in that role until his appointment as vice president for Africa in 2021. F championed several ministries initiatives in Zimbabwe and beyond. One recent example is the Hope 2020 initiative, together with the national team leaders for Southern and Eastern Africa. He championed the digital evangelistic and discipleship online campaign that saw thousands of people come to Christ during the COVID pandemic. He is also a church planter who planted the first church for Christ Connect Family Church, which has seen the planting of 18 additional churches. He holds various diplomas and degrees, which include Masters in Leading Innovation and Change from York St. John University, United Kingdom, a doctorate in Transformational Leadership from Bake Graduate University, and is a final PhD student in Organizational Leadership, Regent University. He is married to Chipo and has 3 children, Michael, Trish, Trinity, and they reside in Harare, Zimbabwe. Please do sit down, relax, and enjoy the show.
I'm grateful to present today what I think is pertinent for the development of Africa in relation to the subject of leadership. Leadership scholars have always attested that everything rises and falls with leadership. Of course, that phenomenon is true in some sense, but also on the other side, one needs to look at it from the perspective that development or transformation of an organization or a community, it takes both leaders and followers. And leaders do not work in vacuum, they work in the context of followers. And so the type of followers that a leader leads also plays an impact in shaping the caliber and the texture of a leader and how he is going to lead society or an organization. So Africa is a blessed continent and endowed with a lot of human capital, human intellect, and the ability to understand the worldviews within its context. However, we as a continent, we are not limited to the challenges of the reality that despite the richness of Africa, Africa is actually viewed as one of the poorest continents, and yet it is endowed with so much resource that when that resource is tapped effectively, it can actually bring in transformation. In other words, there is no reason for Africa to be poor. There is no reason for Africa to remain in the chaos that we are seeing today. Like, for example, the continuous coups that are taking place in some of the countries, mainly in the French-speaking countries, able to change its discourse and its narrative by engaging into a process of leadership that brings in the components to help bring out the best out of the component. As we are engaging with the topic leadership for a better Africa, I would want to zero in 3 areas for my discussion. I know that many people have advocated for servant leadership as a great leadership model, that when leaders apply that servant leadership model, it will actually help lead the continent to a different level. But for the purposes of this discussion, I want to present a new model of leadership, which I called transforming steward leadership. And I will explain why Africa needs a new model of leadership called transforming steward leadership. Number 1, Africa is actually known for the vastness of the corrupt activities. In every country in Africa, corruption is on the rise. And it's an undeniable fact that leaders get into power, and when they get into power, they choose to line their pockets to better the values of the economic values of their family and for the people that are within their circle. That drives in corruption. The second one is that Africa is under siege because of its detractors. I use the term detractors because there is so much interest globally on Africa, and therefore Western countries come up with policies that actually subjugate the continent itself. Hence, that maneuvering in that process becomes very, very difficult for African countries, because the policies do not bring in a level playing ground for the African continent and its Western counterparts, be it in trade or in any other form of function. Then the third element that I want to also explore is that stewardship of resources within the continent of Africa is something that we really are facing a deep, deep challenge. So, how then do we mitigate these 3 factors that really seems to be the elephant in the room in order for Africa to be able to move forward? So the only way is to make sure that we have leaders who are transforming steward leaders. Transforming steward leaders, they are first of all concerned or driven by moral values in their execution of leadership. And they execute leadership on an ethical way, in a manner that bring in every society as an important piece for national building. Now, for one to become a transforming steward leader, there are 3 things that needs to be true in that leader. Number 1 is character. Number 2 is competence. And number 3 is the aspect of stewardship. When leaders approach leadership without, first of all, them as individuals experiencing personal transformation, a change of heart, like it is purported in Romans chapter 12, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Leaders need to go through a process of personal transformation, change of mindset, change of their value system, their moral compass, change of their ethical practice, change of how they engage with one another in society. So personal transformation is the first step towards achieving leadership that will bring in a better Africa. Because if a person is experiencing transformation, that means that particular individual
A better Africa is imminent. It's unavoidable. It's unstoppable. And our young people.
Impact Africa Trust, in partnership with International Christian Youth in UK and Springdale College in UK, is offering a variety of diplomas with entrepreneurial practical projects covering SDGs to be done by students. The diplomas are as follows: Leadership and Governance, Leadership and Development, Leadership for Post-Conflict, Women in Leadership and Development, Missional Leadership,